The Department of Public Health and Human Services is pleased to bring you Aging Horizons. Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, fraud, legal issues, veterans benefits, and caregiving. Aging Horizons is a program dedicated to inform and prepare Montanans on these timely issues, making a difference to you and your loved ones. Here now is today's program host.
Welcome to Aging Horizons. On today's show, we'll be talking to you from the 54th Annual Governor's Conference on Aging. We'll be talking about a couple programs that are unique, Wish of a Lifetime and Cupid's Crew, as well as the Centenarians, who the sponsor is here at the conference. These are some great programs that you'd want to be involved with, particularly as they are focused on seniors. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good information. Stay tuned.
I think the most pleasant surprise when we turned 65 and signed up for Medicare Part B was finding out about our Welcome to Medicare preventive visit.
It was free, and it gave us the opportunity to visit with our doctors and establish a plan for our health going forward.
They reviewed our medical history, measured our height, weight, blood pressure, and counseled us on other risk factors.
To learn more about Medicare's free or low-cost preventive and wellness benefits, call your local SHIP counselor at 800-551-3191. I mentioned it's free, right?
Twice.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare summary notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
Receiving help for Ella has been life-changing, and the best word for it is relief. I was the therapist, I was the aide, and I couldn't be the mom because emotionally you're just to your wits' end, you're trying to survive.
I provide care for the Harrises, specifically their daughter Ella. Respite care is extremely challenging, but the rewards that you receive from it are 100 times more than working with a child that doesn't have special needs. Once they get something, it's everything. It's a you celebrate. You don't just enjoy those moments. You celebrate every moment that you get, that you guided them to that next step.
Respite. It's okay to need it. It's okay to want it. Will you provide it? Call 800-224-6034 or visit respite.mt.gov.
It went from survival to enjoying life and being able to be a mom again.
Brought to you by the Montana Broadcasters and this station.
Welcome to Aging Horizons, brought to you by the Department of Public Health and Human Services Senior and Long-Term Care Division. I mentioned earlier that we're going to be talking about several programs, Wish of a Lifetime and Cupid Crew, plus the Governor's Conference here. We're recognizing centenarians. Of course, we have a wonderful individual, an expert out of Denver, Caitlin Shepard. You're the Regional Director Coordinator of Wish of a Lifetime, right?
Yes, I am the Mountain West Field Manager at Wish of a Lifetime,
Okay.
and Montana falls in my region.
Well, that's wonderful. But
Yes.
now, you know, Wish of a Lifetime, that's an interesting term. We kind of confuse it with others, I do. What is the Wish of a Lifetime?
Yes, Wish of a Lifetime from AARP is a nonprofit organization that grants wishes to people 65 and older. We really want to change the way society views our oldest generations, and we do that by granting wishes. Our saying is that we want to change the way we view aging, one inspirational wish at a time.
Oh, that's great. Well, give us an example. How have you granted wishes for seniors?
Yeah, so we started in 2008, and then over the past 15 years, we've granted over 2,500 wishes across the United States. These are experience-based wishes, so reconnecting with loved ones, doing a hobby or passion, doing something for the first time, commemorating the service of a veteran. So as long as it is an experience and someone is 65 years and older, they can apply to our program to have their wish granted with us.
Wow, that's great. Well, now imagine we have a website, and there's probably some parameters in which you apply and what you want to do. I mean, I'd like to go to the moon and back.
Yes, yeah.
But what are some of the things that people have done?
So for our Montana residents, our wish recipients that have had wishes granted in Montana, we have sent Vietnam vets back to Washington, D.C. to visit the memorials. We have sent a foster grandparent from Montana to the Oregon coast to put her feet in the ocean for the first time. We had a Montana vet who lost connection with his sweetheart during COVID. He was living in the veterans home and she moved down to Texas to be with her family. So we helped him go down to Texas and reunite them after 4 years apart. He would write her letters every day, but he hadn't had the opportunity to see her. So those are some of the local statewide wishes that we have granted. We send people to football games, up in hot air balloons. Maybe they want to go horseback riding again. Maybe it's fishing, maybe it's hunting. As long as it's an experience, those are the types of things we're looking at. Now, I don't think we can send you to the moon. That might be a little expensive and a little logistically challenging, but we have done a wide variety of wishes.
Well, I thought I saw somewhere in one of your handouts here that an individual wanted to drive a race car. That sounds neat.
Yes, we have done a lot of race car wishes, a lot of vintage cars. We've had individuals skydive, go to Billy Idol concerts. We didn't have a woman who wanted to ride in the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. So lots of different modes of transportation are popular in wishes.
Well, that's fascinating, the breadth of and the range of different things that people would want to do. And I was thinking, Oscar Mayer Wiener vehicle, but I know there's a number of them out there.
Yes,
Interesting.
yeah. What really kind of connects them all together is the meaning for the person. That's what we look for when we get an application is, how is this meaningful for the individual? For me, riding the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile might not be very meaningful, but for this individual, it was a lifelong dream she had with her kids, and it was something they joked about, and she said, one day I'm going to ride in this Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. And so for her, it was really meaningful to be able to have that experience.
That's really neat. Well, now we have an application on the website that we have up there. How complicated is the application process?
The application is actually very simple. That first qualification is 65 and older. You can either nominate yourself or someone in your life, whether that's your parent or grandparent or a neighbor. You go onto our website at wishofalifetime.org. And you click on Submit a Wish. You fill out an application about the individual, what that wish means to them, a little details about what their wish is, and then some background on who they are, what their interests and hobbies are, so we can get an idea of who that individual is. Once we receive that application, our team reaches out and we begin the vetting process to see if we can approve that wish to be granted.
Oh, neat. Well, now, can you kind of surprise a friend, that you know really well, they've always wanted a hot air balloon? Can you kind of do that for them without their knowledge? Or?
You can nominate someone without their knowledge, but we do ask that we have a conversation with that individual because we really want to make sure it truly is their wish of a lifetime. Early on, we did have an occasion where we granted a wish for a person, and afterwards when we asked her how it was, she said, it was nice, but I'd actually like to do this. So since then, we always want to double check with our wish recipient that it truly is their wish.
It's kind of like dope.
Yeah, but it is always nice to nominate someone. I think older adults are really humble. They think it should go to someone else. They don't believe they're deserving of it. So to have that extra step of someone in their life nominating them, that first step makes them feel so special just to be considered.
Considered, yeah. That's really nice. And now you're out of Denver, but you have a region, and you must have a selection process of somehow that you go through?
Yeah, we have a validation committee that reviews every wish that we have come through. This is a third party of volunteers that get to review all of our wishes and make sure they fall in our mission and vision. But we grant wishes nationwide. So we have our headquarters in Denver, so here in the Mountain West region, but we have staff members in California, Florida, Minnesota, all across the states spreading the word about our program so that we can get more wishes. We're not a sweepstakes. We really want to honor and celebrate as many older adults as we can.
Oh, geez, that sounds like it's so much fun and so interesting.
It is fun.
And we're going to close on our first segment. We're talking about Cupid's Crew.
Cupid Crew,
Next. But if you want to do a, what's the wish program?
Wish of a Lifetime.
Wish of a Lifetime. I'm going to get that done after this segment. There's a website that you can apply to for a loved one, for yourself. If there's something you always wanted to do, it'd be a blast, and have them help support you doing something that you've always wanted all your life. Now, the Cupid Crew is a really interesting thing that's coming up around Valentine's Day, and they need volunteers for all these different programs. They need participants to join in also. So you can probably do both. You can volunteer and participate. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Stay tuned.
With as many as 1 in 10 Americans at risk for Alzheimer's or some other form of dementia, chances are someone you know and love will receive that diagnosis. When that happens, you may well feel devastated, but know that you are not alone. Help is available. You don't have to face dementia by yourself. Call the free 24/7 Alzheimer's Association helpline, 800-272-3900, for guidance and support.
It's been 27 years. I never thought I'd still be smoking, but here I am, COPD and all. I'm about to have a granddaughter. There's so much to show her, but I'm scared I won't be able to keep up like I used to. Kind of gave up on myself on quitting. But it's different now. I want to be here for her and for my daughter.
Every generation produces heroes, men and women who step forward to defend our country in time of need, no matter the personal cost to themselves. And though we can never fully repay them, we can make sure they have access to low-cost, long-term care when they need it. That's what Montana's Veterans Homes are all about. If you've got a hero in need in your family, call us. We can help.
Sergeant Jones. Please respond. I was separated from my squad. Requesting backup. Anyone? Please respond. I'm all alone here.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. I'm your host, Brian Lamore, and we're continuing our discussion about what programs that are available to people in Montana. We'll be talking about Cupid's Crew. That's coming up here on Valentine's Day. And rejoining us is Caitlin Shepard. Welcome back.
Yes, thank you.
Now we're talking about Cupid's Crew. So Cupid is Valentine's Day associated with it, and the crew. Tell us about how the two come together.
Yes, so Cupid Crew started as a separate program at Wish of a Lifetime. We had our wish granting program, and we wanted to do something else for older adults besides just the wish granting, and so we created Cupid Crew. It's been going for 11 years, and it's where we deliver roses and cards to seniors across the United States on Valentine's Day. It's our way to really raise awareness for social isolation and hopefully spread some love and joy to seniors on Valentine's Day.
So you get roses and cards to individuals, but you have to find out who would like to get them. How do you do that?
Yeah, so we partner with organizations, senior communities, senior centers, Meals on Wheels. Maybe it's just local volunteers who are connected to seniors in their community. They can sign up with us to receive those free roses. We ship them directly to them, and they get to decide where to put them in the community. We cannot be in every county and every state finding those, so we really put that on our volunteers and our community partners to help us make sure that we can get to as many older adults as possible.
And that's why we're on Aging Horizons today. You're looking for both participants and volunteers. Now, how does one become a participant? Does somebody else nominate them and it's kind of a surprise?
So hopefully if someone works at, say, a senior community and you're wanting your residents or your senior center participants to be able to receive those roses, you can sign up on our website or give me a call, and we can get your community or your organization signed up to receive roses for all of those seniors. If you are wanting to deliver roses to maybe maybe your church, the seniors in your church or in your neighborhood, individual volunteers can sign up to receive roses to be able to hand out to those older adults that might not live in a long-term care community.
That's neat. Well, it's kind of like I'm thinking Meals on Wheels, and that volunteers know what to bring to individuals that need them. So they will contact you, you will contact them, and then you make sure that the roses get to the volunteers, right?
Yes, we ship our roses directly to volunteers. Last year we did over 100,000 roses across the United States. We're hoping to do 150,000 this year, and I would love a lot of those roses to go across the state of Montana.
Well, I think earlier you mentioned to me that how many roses were distributed last year?
Yeah, last year was our first time having Cupid Crew in Montana, and we had 175 roses, and I know that we can make that number a lot bigger this year.
A lot more. Now, offhand, do you happen to know when Valentine's Day is? I mean, what day of the week?
Well, I know it's February 14th,
Yes.
and I believe it's on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday, okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So an individual would probably need to plan ahead to do this so that you can get the shipping. Is there kind of a deadline that you know?
Yes. We would like to get those rose orders in as soon as possible. So whenever this is airing, if you're hearing it, I would say go and sign up right away. We do take orders for cards. So if you can't take roses, you can also sign up for cards and create cards. If you're a crafter, if you like writing cards, those you can sign up for later. So if we run out of roses, we always have the opportunity for cards, and we might be able to ask for a few more roses if we're getting a lot of requests too.
That's neat. And you probably give some general guidance for cards because you want to make sure that has the right things in there, right?
Yeah, we provide the cards in the envelopes. We'll ship them directly to the volunteer. If volunteers really want to create their own cards, they definitely can. I know we've got some very creative people in Montana that probably have a lot more skills than I do in making cards. So if someone really wants to make their own, they can as well. But we just want to make anyone that wants to participate able to participate in Cupid Crew.
Well, you know, the Office on Aging, a part of senior long-term care, an important component of aging programs is socialization for seniors. And socialization is so important. Why is that important, and how does this program help meet those objectives?
So 1 in 4 older adults are isolated. And for us, Valentine's Day is not a day that you typically think of your grandparent or a senior in your life. And for our older population, they may have lost a spouse, a lot of friends, and it can be a really lonely time. So just that act of giving a rose or receiving a card when you didn't think you'd be getting anything can be really impactful.
And Valentine's Day, if you have lost a spouse, is probably a big day to be alone.
Yes.
So this helps to address that.
Yeah.
What's the ideal volunteer that you're looking for?
What's great about this opportunity is volunteers of any age. We have school groups that participate, Girl Scouts. We have seniors who love to make cards and want to give to other seniors. So there's no age requirement for volunteering. We love groups to volunteer as well. We have corporate groups that like to do this. We have elementary schools. So this is the perfect opportunity for any type of volunteer, whether you want to do it in person or at home, that you can do it on your own.
Yeah, well, when our discussion here, I was just thinking, I have a friend that lives in another town. It'd be nice for him to receive something like that.
Yes.
So you don't have to nominate a person in your own town. It can be across the country, really.
Yes, yep. If we are able to find volunteers, we are able to deliver roses and cards to any community. It really is like grassroots effort. So the more volunteers we have, the more roses and cards we can send out across the state.
Well, if you're hoping to get 150,000 roses delivered this year, that's a lot of roses.
It is a lot of roses. It's a fun logistical challenge to get all those roses shipped, but we get them out there.
Imagine it's like putting on a conference. It's like, oh my gosh, I have one big day.
Yes, yeah. We're already thinking about Valentine's Day here.
That's great. Well, your organization also helps support centenarians. And in our next segment, we'll be talking about centenarians that are able to attend the Governor's Conference on Aging, how we find them, well, and who they are, and how we recognize them as being, wonderful community participants and who have shaped our state and our nation. And they're an amazing group of people, and it's a lot of fun to talk to them, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Today, class, we'll be discussing the term ombudsman, a word we borrowed from the Swedes and never gave back. Say you're a resident or you have a loved one in long-term care. Now, what do you do if you're not happy with the care and services you receive? You call your long-term care ombudsman, of course. Your ombudsman is available to support you and your rights. An advocate on your behalf could be the ticket. This is your home. If you have questions, the numbers right there below me have all the answers. Class dismissed.
I was diagnosed with diabetes in 1992 and I went into denial. It made me angry. I was a professional chef and I didn't want to change my eating style. It took me a long time to get serious about managing my health. My perspective changed from resentment to one of loving my body, the container for my spirit. Getting help from my diabetes educator supported my goals of improved self-care. I want to feel good and have a great life. My diabetes educator helps me do this.
Did you just text me?
I didn't want to disturb you if you were sleeping.
Sleeping? I'm sitting right next to you, silly.
There you are. Hey, I found a couple of Medicare helping programs online that I think we ought to look into.
It says if we qualify, we can get help paying for our prescription drugs. Oh, and there's a program that can help pay our Part B premium.
To learn more about extra help and Medicare savings programs, call your local SHIP counselor today.
Maybe I better text him.
More fuels, more fires, more fear. You don't have to live in the forest to be threatened by wildfire. In 18 years, the number of fires per year has increased by 1,000 and tripled the acreage burned. Turn it around. Advocate for forest management. Form a group. Craft a plan. Mitigate the fire hazard. You and your community can't dismiss the trend, but you can mitigate the risk. FireSafeMT.org can help. Paid for by FireSafe Helena and aired by the Montana Broadcasters Association.
Welcome back to Aging Horizons. I'm Brian Lamore, your host, and we're continuing our discussion at the Governor's Conference on Aging, the 54th in Great Falls, Montana. Rejoining us is Caitlin Shepard, and Caitlin, AARP is sponsoring the Centenarians Luncheon today, and of course AARP represents individuals age 50 plus, and I guess centenarian's a successful ager, right?
Yes, definitely a successful aging story. Yeah. As a charitable affiliate of AARP, Wish of a Lifetime loves to honor all ages, but especially our centenarians who have such incredible stories to share and wisdom. And when I heard about this organization, and our organization heard about the centenarians, we really wanted to be able to sponsor that celebration and help the state honor them. And this has been our second year that we've been able to sponsor the Centenarian Luncheon.
That's wonderful. We found 25 centenarians, individuals, 100 plus in Montana. 5 were able to attend, and we got to talk to all of them. It was really nice. But now, you know, we were talking about your WISH program earlier. Have centenarians participated in your WISH program too? And what are maybe some of the wishes that you granted?
Yeah, we have granted quite a few wishes for centenarians, and I know we're always hoping to grant as many as we can for centenarians. But one of my favorite was a wish we granted for 3 centenarian sisters that were 104, 107, and 110 years old. And they had not seen each other in many years. And so we were able to fly 2 of the sisters to the 3rd sister, and they were able to spend a weekend sharing stories, laughing, being together. And you can just imagine the wisdom and the stories that were being told in that room as those 3 centenarian sisters were being celebrated with their families.
It's really neat. And I think when we have centenarians here, I enjoy talking to them, reading their stories, what they've gone through in their lifetimes. It's just absolutely amazing. And for 3 of them to get together from the same family, wow.
Yes, some good genes there for sure.
That's right. Well, now you'll probably be sponsoring the Centenarian Luncheon again next year.
Yes, I hope so.
Yeah. How do people identify their centenarians? How do we find them?
That's always hard for us as an organization to find those centenarians. I think Montana does an incredible job of doing this event. In the other states that I cover in my region, I have not found something like the Centenarian Luncheon. And I mentioned today when I was speaking to the group that this is really special that Montana does this to honor their centenarians. And if you know of a centenarian in your life, one, please honor them through this luncheon, but also through a wish. So if they would want to submit a wish that we can either do in their home, bring it to them or take them somewhere else if they are active and going strong. We would love to be able to celebrate and honor as many centenarians as possible. I wish there was just like a centenarian club where you could find them all really easily, but it was so great today. You know, we had 2 World War II vets in the room, and there aren't that many World War II vets. So for me, that was really special to be able to interact with both those gentlemen today.
Talk with them. You know, when I was in charge of finding centenarians, and you know, they don't have driver's licenses. We can't get medical information on them, you know, or car registrations. They're really tough to find. So we always rely on family members to identify them. But we like to collect some information about them too, because they're centenarians. I mean, they've lived some amazing lives. And like you mentioned, a lot were veterans, but now when we say veterans, we think guys. A lot of them are ladies that have, you know, they say during World War II, I volunteered doing this and that. They have wonderful stories.
Yes, and we had a woman today who was a Rosie the Riveter. She was working in the naval yards during World War II as well. So just incredible, hardworking people that we can finally give back to them when they've given so much to our country.
And you know, they dropped everything. I know my grandmother, she was a nurse, but she went to Ogden, Utah making 50 caliber bullets, and they found out she was a nurse. She went to Bremerton, and then one of her sons came through there, is wounded, and got to take care of him. But it's like, I'm leaving everything right now. I'm doing this, and that is a real different focus on our society when we have wartime stories that we've forgotten.
Yes, yeah, and that's what Wish of a Lifetime is all about. We want to be able to grant wishes and share those stories. We don't want to lose these stories as our older generations age. We want to be able to share these stories and really impact all generations through what we can learn from them.
Oh, exactly. You know, you mentioned that it's the World War II veterans are turning 100 now. And there's quite a high attrition rate. I mean, just through living, and there's not many of them around anymore. So pretty soon it's going to be Vietnam vets, I guess.
Yeah, it really will be. We just 2 years ago granted a wish for a man, Colonel James Harvey, who's a Tuskegee Airman, and he just turned 100 this last July, and he was the first Top Gun in 1949.
Really?
And unfortunately, due to the time, his team did not get the recognition that they deserved due to the color of their skin. And so we worked with the United States Air Force in Las Vegas, and he received an award in honor for that accomplishment of being that first Top Gun winner. So just some incredible stories, and even being able to help rewrite some history as well through celebrating these people.
And you know, they mentioned the men did not get the recognition, but I was talking to somebody else earlier, they're talking about the women did not get their recognition. They did their job, they did it. Their eventual spouses came home from the war, and then they made homes, and they had children and businesses, and they maintained the ranches. It's really a success story that it's history now, I think. I mean, we have different stories, let's say, that we're growing now. But once again, you're sponsoring the Governor's Conference's Centenarian Luncheon through AARP. Thank you so much for that, because it's so wonderful to have sponsors. I know.
We're so happy that we could.
And you can kind of hear them in the background right now.
I know. It's a good conference going on.
But and thank you for both the programs that you bring to Montana. What's the WISH program name again?
Wish of a Lifetime from AARP.
I can't get that one down. And then you have Cupid's Crew, and then we're recognizing centenarians here at the Governor's Conference. And that's all through the auspices of AARP in recognizing the contributions that seniors have made to both our state and our nation, and how seniors need to be celebrated. Thank you for joining us today on Aging Horizons.
Special thanks to the Department of Public Health and Human Services for their continued support. Hosts on Aging Horizons are program specialists at the Montana Office on Aging. Production facilities provided by Video Express Productions. For more information about Aging Horizons, call the Department of Public Health and Human Services toll-free at 800-332-2272.